Talking Sheeeeeeed. Bottom line. The bottom line. Yeah, man. Nigga sound like he in a goddamn choir or something. Yeah, we talking Sheed right now. Yeah. Andre Iguodala has said that Sheed would be better than Giannis in today's game, and he also said that Rasheed Wallace would dominate in today's game. Now, I don't I don't particularly agree with Andre Iguodala when he talked about being better than Giannis. You know, it wouldn't be like I said. It goes back to how I compare players, right? Now, if you're going to compare Giannis to somebody and you're going to say, okay, yeah, he would have did this in this era, or he would have did that in this era, or possibly would have had a chance to be like Giannis. You would have had to look at somebody like a KG or like a Chris Webber, somebody who was a mobile type of power forward. Even like to a certain extent, a Charles Barkley or a Karl Malone. But I don't mention those. I don't mention those guys because they didn't really do as much as Giannis did. I mean, and I'm talking about on both ends of the floor. But that's a whole other story. But I want to focus my attention on Rasheed Wallace. Okay, bottom line. Now, Rasheed Wallace, man, what people got to understand is that a lot of people look at Rasheed Wallace just in Detroit, or they looked at him when he was with his short little stints with the Celtics and all of that. But long before that, Sheed, man, he was a terror when it came to that pick and roll alley oop, that style of being able to clean up, and he doesn't often get credit for him being a tenacious rebounder, which from the numbers you would look at it, you'd be like, how come he didn't average that much rebounding? But his precision on the glass in terms of him being an offensive rebounder, especially when he was in college, was no, he doesn't. Absolutely not. He doesn't underachieve. Absolutely not. And see, that's the problem. That's an example right there. I really disagree with you. It was because Rasheed Wallace was very unselfish, and he was all about the team. Okay. Now, you might look at it. You might be looking at it, Ted, from a standpoint of him getting a lot of technical fouls and all that other stuff, which is all gravy. If we're gonna go there, then we got to talk about other guys in history that got a lot of technical fouls with the antics and all that other stuff. Hell, you could look at Draymond Green; he has a lot of antics and stuff. People calling him a Hall of Fame. So, no, he didn't underachieve at all. As a matter of fact, Rasheed Wallace, he came into the league in a time where the big man was still prevalent. And you also have to listen. This is another thing too that's going to mess you up too. It's going to really throw guys to take the game to the perimeter. That's what people don't understand. When he came in, when Rasheed Wallace came in, right? When Rasheed Wallace came in, guys were still playing pretty much back to the basket. Power forwards and centers were still playing back to the basket. And then you also had them, they were still utilizing the mid range close to, 15 feet and below, not 15 feet and beyond. And that's why he gets credited. He had the fadeaway. He had the cheap fade. If you sport his shoes, he had the Air Force Ones. He had his own shoe line. Well, if you look at his shoes, look at his logo. It was a turnaround. It was a turnaround shot, and it was so hard to stop. And he was efficient with it. He know when to shoot it. He wasn't the type of guy to, doing on those Donovan Mitchell shit, which I was talking about last night, forcing up shots and stuff like that. No. That's not what Rasheed Wallace was doing. When he played with the Blazers, yeah, they had a reputation. Yeah, they they had a whole bunch of guys on there that, that's why they called them the Jailblazers and all that other stuff, but they were good. They took the Lakers to that pivotal game that everybody remembers when it was night when Shaq caught that alley-oop, which I didn't think he was gonna catch that motherfucker. But Shaq caught that motherfucker, that nice lob by R.I.P. Mom, and just yoked that bitch over all them Trailblazers. That was between that shot, between that dunk, and then between that Robert Horry shot, that was those were tremendous shots right there, or tremendous plays. But now Rasheed Wallace, man, he didn't underachieve at all. He went to the Pistons, and people forget, okay, y'all looking at Rasheed, like when he was with the Pistons and stuff, he got a little older and started gaining a little bit of weight and stuff like that. But go look at Rasheed Wallace when he came. Of course he came when he played in Philadelphia in high school, and then of course he went to UNC. Raw athleticism. This guy right here was, you would want him to be in that middle. Now, in today's game, this is the thing right here. I think he would be successful, much like a lot of guys would be successful, because if you're playing during this time period, okay, you have to utilize what's going to be necessary. Well, for this era, it's outside in. It's not inside out, right? So most of the guys you see are mobile bigs that can handle the rock, run in transition. They can also play defense. They can also play pick and pop. Like the reason why I think that a guy like James Wiseman is going to be so successful is because he has an understanding of what the big man game is like now. He has an understanding of that shit. From a standpoint of, oh yeah, you want to compare Rasheed Wallace to Giannis and all that other bullshit. That's not even a comparison. You got to look at a guy like Chris Webber, KG, somebody that could actually, even like a guy that doesn't get credited a lot. And I know he wasn't no Hall of Famer, but God rest his soul. Anthony Mason, because people forget that Anthony Mason was playing a little bit of point forward when he was with Charlotte Hornets. What's up with it, brown sugar? I see you in here. What's up with it, Queen? Brown sugar, babe. I get out. Okay. I want some of your brown sugar. I want some of your brown sugar. Y'all don't know nothing about that. That's D'Angelo. I want some of your brown sugar. I mean, to a certain extent, but Jermaine O'Neal, now you want to talk about somebody that underachieved? Jermaine O'Neal. Jermaine O'Neal underachieved. Okay? Like, and I like Jermaine O'Neal. Matter of fact, down here in Dallas. He got to go on gym facility. But Jermaine O'Neal, man, he was he could mix it up, but we're not talking about Jermaine O'Neal. We're talking about a guy in Rasheed Wallace. I'm talking about some of the other earlier guys that don't get credit. Jermaine O'Neal didn't start really evolving into that guy that was outside in certain things. He didn't really step out and hit the three like that. Rasheed Wallace was known to step out and hit the three. Like and he would catch heat, he would catch fire. He wasn't inefficient from 3 pointers. J Mac, I see you in the building. She said different game at she turned around deadly. Yeah, high big IQ. Yeah, what's up, J Mac? I see you in the building. Carolina. I see you in the building, man. Yeah, we were just talking about your place, Bo J. Hey, tell him, look, man, I know I done talked about it enough, man. Shout out to Carolina, niggas, But yeah, hey, J Mac know what I'm talking about, man. Hey, tell these motherfuckers, man, hey, man, if that motherfucker came off at a rebound, man, that motherfucker cheese, man, we're gonna put that bitch back in. Now, the reason why I can't compare him to Giannis is because Giannis handles the ball quite frequently. A lot of people don't know that Giannis started off, Jay Kidd put him at the goddamn point guard. I bet a lot of people didn't even know that shit. Now, we know goddamn well that nigga ain't no Brooklyn, but if you go back and you go look at Giannis's his career and what they had him listed as, they put that nigga, they listed him as a PG one time. But yeah, Sheeeeeed was something else, man. I used to like his game, man, with the little patch. He had the little patch of gray right there. Yeah, man, and I love his shooting, man. And many people ask me if Rasheed Wallace is a Hall of Famer. Absolutely. Yes, he is a Hall of Famer. Absolutely, he is a Hall of Famer. And it's a lot of it, surprisingly, it's not just the NBA. It's what he did in college. And he's a versatile guy. Like, never mind. See, y'all get so caught up in the emotional shit. Him yelling at the referees and all that other stuff, because I think he has, from my understanding, he leads all time in technical fouls. Correct me if I'm wrong. He leads all time. But if you look beyond that shit, just like if you could get beyond the antics of Draymond Green, if you could get beyond the antics of Dennis Rodman, and you really look at what those guys bring to the table, he had a very high IQ, high basketball IQ, and he was very fundamentally sound. You don't love Sheeeeeed. Man, the only reason you love Sheeeeeed is because you played in Boston that one time. Stop it, you right? You don't love Sheeeeeed, man. Man, you ain't start loving Sheeeeeed because he came to Boston. And that was the end of his career. No, I'm fucking with you now. But yeah, Sheeeeeed, man, he was something ridiculous. A lot of people don't give the credit to like Rasheed Wallace for ushering in that new stretch forward. Like if you look at the Dirk Nowitzki's and some of the other guys, and I'm not saying that Rasheed Wallace was shooting the 3-pointer at that rate, or even handling the rock like Dirk Nowitzki and all of that, because that's not what he was doing. You know, you got to look at a guy like Cliff Robinson. You gotta look at guys like that. You know that were able to usher in that stretch forward. God rest his soul. Cliff Robinson. I always talk about him all the time. But a guy that doesn't get talked about is Rasheed Wallace. We know about KG. We knew about what KG was doing, like in high school. Man, KG had been doing that shit in high school. He was handling the rock coast to coast, and not no big man handle. Like he just trying to get the ball past the timeline. No, I'm talking about this nigga was crossing the ball over and shit like that, going between the legs and yoking that bitch. That's the type of shit that KD was doing. The same shit that Chris Webber was doing. And the thing about it with Chris Webber, see, he had court vision too. That's what made him phenomenal. Yeah, but Antoine Walker was a small forward. He was a small forward, but yeah, now you talk about a guy that underachieved. That listen, Jay Cox, I gotta call you out on this, man. Uh, Antoine Walker is as good as he was coming out of Kentucky. He underachieved. He underachieved. Everybody always want to sit here and say that, Rasheed Wallace didn't do this and he didn't do that, man. Rasheed Wallace did so much on that court that you don't understand. Okay, was he gonna put up 40 points and all this other stuff? No, absolutely not. But he was real solid defensively, and he made. See that's and what's his name? Andre Iguodala is very smart because he's giving it. He kind of giving Rasheed Wallace a little bit of life, and people gonna focus on Rasheed Wallace and what he's bringing to the table with the Lakers. Yeah, he underachieved. He underachieved, man. And I hated what happened to Antoine Walker. He started eating a little bit too much. If you want to talk about guys that underachieved, you got to talk about guys that didn't finish their career on a great note. Sean Kemp, he didn't finish his career on a great note. That's underachievement. You can't. If you look at Rasheed Wallace and what he did everything he was supposed to do. Besides, getting all the technical fouls and all that other stuff. Other than that, Rasheed Wallace, he got a championship. You know what I'm saying? He got a chip. He was an all-star a few times. I can't go through his resume right yet. don't know it right off the top of your head. Which, who are you talking about, Brown Sugar? Yeah, DC man, he underachieved. But you know, I don't want to get it. I don't want to get caught up into underachieved and all this other stuff because I feel like, you know, believe it or not, you know, Terry Cox, you know, them niggas made the league, so that's an achievement in itself. Now it's up to you to, you know, to be successful in there. if if you go to the league and you got to decide what you gonna want, if you know what you gonna get out of the league, and the fact that they made it, that you know, I you know, some guys, man, within the you know the LDBC, you know, they always say bust and all that other stuff. I don't do that shit on this channel because you know it's very difficult, man. It's hard to make an NBA roster. I don't think people understand how how hard it is. It's gonna take hard work. It's gonna take dedication, sacrifice, this, that, and the third, and a little bit of luck. And sometimes it's about being at the right place at the right time, doing the right thing at the right time too. So, you know, some people that sit up here and say, okay, yeah, they got busted, he underachieved and all this other stuff, you know what I'm saying? I don't really get caught up in that too much or whatever because see a lot of times, man, when guys make the league right, they'll sit there and make the league and shout out to Churrock for TV. Make sure you go sub to Churrock for TV if you have a sub to him. But I'm gonna talk about this a little bit later, man. He was the first one to report on this shit. He was reporting on the thing I'm gonna talk about later, which is the age limit. But the thing about it is like, okay, these guys, man, that come into the league, you gotta understand they get the bag. They not only are they getting the bag, they're getting the bag and they're getting a lot of popularity. They that guy right now. Well, through all that popularity, through all that money that you get, through all the notoriety that you get and stuff like that, there's also a lot of other stuff that comes with it too. That's negative. First and foremost, let's start with the people. People gonna start, you know, people that wasn't even around in the beginning when you were putting in the blood, sweat, and tears, when you were putting in the sleepless nights, so to speak, the difficult workouts, the preparation, stuff like that. The people that wasn't around, guess what? They gonna come there with their hand out. They gonna come there with their hand out. And a lot of times, man, when you have individuals, man, that make the league, you know, they don't know how to act, man, when you between the ages of like 18, 20, 24 years old, man. If you make it during that time, make it during that age. A lot of these guys don't know how to react to that. A lot of these guys they just gonna go ahead and start giving up money or whatever. See, Antoine Walker's problem, he went broke too. He ended up getting broke. Now he recovered and he ended up bouncing back or whatever. Because I'm not gonna sit there. You know, the same thing with Ben Baker. Ben Baker has struggled too. So if we're gonna talk about underachieving, Ben Baker, he underachieved too. But you know, sometimes, man, you know, you get caught up in drama. I think even Rasheed Wallace, he was going through a thing with his wife at the time too. a lot of off the court shit that be happening too, Jay Cox. A lot of shit goes on. Everybody think, oh yeah, made the league. You made the league. Everything's all right. Everything's all good and gravy. Nah, it's nah. Cause especially if you at the top, people got a bullseye. You got a bullseye on your back. And I know y'all like, man, what's this got to do with Rasheed Wallace? Man, Rasheed Wallace, man. Rasheed Wallace in today's game, with all the free flow and the paint not being as clogged as it is, I think he would love it. Especially like I'm talking about the older version of Rasheed. I'm talking about the Pistons version of Rasheed. Oh man, he would have been money. He would have been money all day. If all he has to do is, if I put you like this, right? If you look at the way that JaVale McGee plays, he would be a combination of that plus a jumper, plus a better jumper. Imagine a JaVale McGee mixed with a Rasheed Wallace. I mean, mixed with like I'm trying to think of somebody that shoots the ball really good. Man, mixed with a guy that can shoot from 15 feet and beyond. That's what his game would be like. That's what his game would be like. I don't know. Maybe so, Jay Cox. But see, also you gotta also realize too how active he was inside too. Though. You gotta look. We'll automatically assume, okay, yeah, he gonna come up, shoot 8 to 10 threes a game or something like that. That's if he utilized whatever. Look, I'm quite sure that if he played in today's game too, in today's game too, right? In today's game too, if he had to work on handling the rock and all that other stuff, I'm pretty sure it would be something that he would work on, because that's something that he worked on. He worked on becoming a better shooter, especially from the outside. I'm not gonna lie to you. When he first started doing it, Ken Cox, I'm like, man, what the fuck is Rasheed? Oh, okay. Damn, never mind. Damn, Sheeeeeeed, why you sitting there shooting? Oh, never mind. Fuck it. Because that motherfucker was money. And I would play on live with that nigga, man, and that nigga would be knocking that shit down. Even even somebody like DeAndre Ayton. Man, he shot well versus everybody. But I mean, you're sitting there saying he underachieved and everything, Jay Cox. Well, if he underachieved so bad, then why you think Darvin Ham wants him on the coaching staff? Because he was a part of that 2014, man. You talk about, look, man, you gotta be careful with some of these words y'all put out there. Underachieved, bust and all this other stuff. That's not what you think of when you think of a guy like Rasheed Wallace. And look, hey, you talking about AD? Yeah, yesterday I'm still on. Man, I'm still on what you said about AD. You talk about. You said AD. You gotta do this and you gotta do that. Hey, let me ask you something. When have you known Rasheed Wallace not to show up for a game or sitting out a big percentage of the NBA season year after year? You ain't known that shit about Rasheed Wallace. So let me ask you this thing. So would you say that AD has kind of underachieved? Because if we're gonna go there, AD has not fulfilled his obligation in terms of actually being there, in terms of actually showing up, and in terms of actually staying healthy. But he's on the coaching staff, and a guy like Rasheed Wallace, I feel like he'll be able to bring the best out of it. He's been in the coaching circuit for quite some time. He was with Memphis. Now he's with the Lakers. And as a matter of fact, he was coaching coaching high school. Is he high school or college? One of them. But he had been in the coaching circuit for quite some time. You know, I think a lot of people think that I really hate Anthony Davis. You said he was so aggressive. Yeah, he was very aggressive. True. He was very aggressive. He was real aggressive, man. Like especially in Carolina. Everybody always talks about, you know, uh, the Tar Heel days. Um, Rasheed Wallace, man, he was a terror, man. And I'm gonna tell you something like this: Rasheed Wallace, when he played against us, when he played against Duke, I wanted to see Rasheed Wallace play, and I was a Duke fan. I just wanted to watch. I wanted to watch Rasheed Wallace. I love what he brought to the table. Now, if he was like, if he played more, if he was more impactful on defense, if he was like a defender like Alonzo Mourning, I would compare him a lot to Alonzo Mourning. But Alonzo Mourning was so gifted defensively. He was very, man, Alonzo Mourning was trying to block everything. His game didn't suffer. His game didn't suffer, man. Yeah, you talk about his game suffer. Man, his game did not suffer. Nigga, you said the game suffered. Nigga, what the fuck do you think that the bigs are doing now? Talk about the game suffered. Or his game suffered. Man, listen, he was one of the ones. Like, if you look at a lot of the bigs that are playing right now, that's what Rasheed was doing. I mean, he was hitting turnaround shots. I mean, he started off with the mid range. He started off just being, that cleanup guy. He started off being just that back to basket post, pick and roll, pick and alley all of that. And then he got smarter. He got wiser. When you get in the NBA for quite some time, you can't play the same way. I've said this before. You can't play the same way that you did in year 5 as you do in year 10. You can't play the same way. Michael Jordan, he developed the turnaround because guess what? He realized that his athleticism wasn't quite there like it was when he was in his younger 20s and all of that. That's not a fact, man. His game did not suffer at all. You can utilize Rasheed Wallace in a multitude of ways. I can utilize Rasheed Wallace as a 5. I can utilize him. Hell, I can utilize him in 3 different positions. In today's game, you could utilize Rasheed Wallace in 3 different positions. You could utilize him at the 3 to 4, and the 5. If you look at the way Al Horford plays, that's kind of an example of what Rasheed Wallace was doing. Except, Al Horford got that game. It's not that pretty. Rasheed Wallace he had a pretty game because he was finesse, but also he was raw. He had raw, aggressive ability like Viking was talking about. You're sitting there, you're facing it on, oh yeah, well, his game suffered and all this other stuff. No, it suffered into a championship. He got a ring, took him, hey, look, he was always in the mix, too. Always in the mix. And then you also got to understand, look at the level, look at who he was playing with. Look at who he was playing against in the trenches, man, during that time. Shit. Tim Duncan, Amari Stoudemire, a prime Amari Stoudemire before he got hurt. KG. You understand what I'm saying? What's his name? Jermaine O'Neal. Dennis Rodman was still in the league during that time. And I'm talking about his younger days. And you see the picture right here. I mean, you got guys like Ron Artest. Even though Ron Artest, I mean, he was more, playing more on the wing and all that. But I'm just saying, like during that time, man, you really had to know how to score because defenders were gonna lock you up. and I still stand on the 80s being way more physical than the 90s and in the 2000s. Before I think 2002, 2003, they let go of that. They started to implement those rule changes. Nah, his game is something. If anything, Look, Chris Webber had a chance to beat the Lakers. Did he beat the Lakers though? Nah, but Rasheed Wallace did. Rasheed Wallace did. I mean, and of course he didn't beat him by himself. You know, he had a very good cast. He had a very good supporting cast. But see, that's another thing too. Everybody downs the Pistons. Like when I got on here and I said that Chauncey Billups is a Hall of Famer. Okay, everybody went crazy. Right. Okay, but then y'all sit up there and you say, well, there's motherfuckers that sit up there and say, well, these guys, they weren't this and they weren't that. But then when I do the comparison of him and Webber, then y'all sit up there and y'all say, okay, yeah, well, what's his name? Rasheed Wallace had a better team. Okay, so which one is it? You mean at that time it was the Washington Bullets. And what was it, Brown Sugar? I think it was Brown Sugar. One of them. Either Brown Sugar or Vikings. One of y'all asked me if he played for the Wizards. No, he played for at that time it was the Bullets. But I understand what you're saying though, Memphis. Yeah, but the Bullets, when he was with the Bullets, yeah, that's where he started. That's where he started or whatever. You said that's not a good take. What are you talking about? And ain't nobody taking shit, nigga. What I'm telling you is that you're sitting up here and you're saying, okay, yeah, you said that Rasheed Wallace, his game sucked. Nigga, you need to go back and you need to go look at Rasheed Wallace. You're talking about his game sucked. Nigga, what you said wasn't a good take. You probably paid attention. You paid attention to Rasheed Wallace as he got older and all this other shit. You know what I'm saying? You got to look at the full realm of what he brought to the table. But you sit up here and you don't even, nigga, I forgot, man, you one of them ones that talk, look, I can't even take your ass seriously because you up here talking down on, I think it was Klay Thompson. Yeah, that's you. Talking shit about Klay Thompson. You say Klay Thompson ain't a fourth defense or some shit like that. You said different Chris Webber actually very good mid-range shooter. So was Rasheed. Rasheed was a good man, but nigga, what do you call a turnaround? Come on, man. You digging yourself into a deeper hole. No, what are you talking about? Rasheed Wallace shot in the mid-range. Go back and go look at the game. Man, you sit up in here and you say, oh, yeah, well Chris Webber was a greater mid-range shooter and all this other stuff. Who you think handled the ball? And I had already stated this, Memphis. I told everybody in the beginning. You wasn't here in the beginning. You got to go rewind the live. I said that Chris Webber was more mobile, and that's why I said that Giannis should not be compared to a guy like Rasheed Wallace. He should be more compared to like a Chris Webber. And hey, correct me if I'm wrong, y'all. Just let Memphis know. Memphis, I said that Chris Webber he was should be more credited to what you see right now of most bigs doing what they're doing. That's kind of what Giannis does. Like him and KG. I said that earlier. Go rewind it back. But if we're gonna get into who was more successful in the league all day, I'm picking Rasheed Wallace. He got it done. Rasheed Wallace got it done. Now, in terms of flamboyance, it's because what's his name was unselfish too. Rasheed Wallace was a very unselfish player, and he did what was necessary for the betterment of the team, regardless of what y'all want to say about the technical fouls and stuff. You would have loved to have Rasheed Wallace especially in today's game. Yeah, maybe in your eyes, you tripping. Maybe in your eyes, maybe in your eyes, maybe in your eyes. Okay, and Rasheed Wallace, he should be in there. And listen, you been saying, yeah, Rasheed Wallace, Chris Webber is in the Hall of Fame. Rasheed Wallace is it. Man, get out of here with that third grade shit. Listen, everybody knows that Rasheed Wallace, if you really look at the numbers, if you look at them numbers and stuff like that, of course people it's not gonna jump out at you. Okay? But if you go back and you go look at the game, see you looking at, oh yeah, he can put up 20 and all this other stuff. And Chris Webber was pretty much the main guy on his squad. Rasheed Wallace was not like what you call the vocal point of the offense a lot of times. When Chris Webber had came in, they had already thrust him as that main guy when he played for Golden State, dunking over Barkley. Chris Webber was already known in that shit. You know what I'm saying? And listen, don't get it twisted. I fuck with C West. And I felt like he should have. There's a lot of motherfuckers that set up here, oh yeah, well, Chris Webber ain't no Hall of Famer. But the nigga, Nola Boy, shout out to James, he had to let everybody know that Chris Webber was a Hall of Famer. Like myself too. But don't discount what Rasheed has done for the game. You sitting up in here talking about he underachieved and shit. But that nigga was utilized in so many different ways. Yeah, and then what did they do after that? Come on. What did they do after that, Memphis? They didn't go nowhere, huh? what is that ran out? What did they do after that? The Blazers didn't do shit. Did they get to another Western Conference Finals? Yeah, they did with Dame and shit. Oh man. Look at Kay Cox, he up in there cheerleading. You trying to give Memphis 10 ammunition and shit. But that's the beauty of it though. Your lack of respect for the old school players, man. I think it's tremendous. I think you got lack of respect for the younger generation players too. You don't even respect. See, you don't respect hard workers. You like motherfuckers that get the glory and don't put in no hard work and shit. You like James Harden. That's who you like. You like motherfuckers that's lazy, fucking 1,000 hoes and shit, and then show up to training camp 15, 20 pounds overweight and shit and don't show up in the playoffs. That's the type of niggas you like. You don't like niggas that different if we were talking about Jermaine O'Neal. Now, Jermaine O'Neal, that's a whole nother conversation. Because Jermaine O'Neal, he made Indiana a powerhouse, and they possibly could have won the championship had it not been for the goddamn riot and shit. He see, I know you hate guys that play real basketball. You like I said. Oh shit! What happened to where's my wallet? Hold on one second, y'all. Okay, I'm not. No, what are you talking about? Ain't nobody ignoring that. Ain't nobody ignoring nothing. That's what I'm saying. You gotta go back and go listen to the beginning of the stream. But them guys weren't developed. Jermaine O'Neal came straight from high school. My guy, he came straight from high school. Jermaine O'Neal didn't really start coming into his own until like his fourth, maybe his fourth or fifth season or something like that. He didn't. It took him a while to develop, man. And then Zebo, it took him some time. Even though Zebo was a good guy, coming out, he was highly, believe it or not, I couldn't believe it, but he was highly touted coming out of high school. Zach Randolph was. But I'm not ignoring any fact. You're ignoring the fact that Rasheed Wallace, you're looking at you do like what a lot of other guys do. You just go based on numbers without just looking at what he brought to the table, intellect wise. It's a lot more than basketball than just all this value over replacement, PER, and plus minuses and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, if you're doing all that shit and no success is coming out of that, then what are you good for? But if you got a guy here that everybody's telling you what he brings to the table without having to look at the numbers and where he was development wise, then you're talking about a guy like Rasheed Wallace. Was he like on the superstar status of a Chris Webber, KG? Hey, maybe not. But Rasheed Wallace was a force down low. Hold on one second though. Oh my God, Memphis! Hey, you discredit Rasheed so much, man. You say Arvidas Sabonis. Oh my God. Hey, Rasheed Wallace turned you down for an autograph, didn't yeah, exactly. Yeah. This nigga, man, see, Ted Kite, that's what I'm saying. You up here talking about Arvidas Sabonis. And Arvidas Sabonis, even at his older age, that nigga was not. If you look at his son, the youngest Sabonis, playing for the Kings now, um, hey, that can tell you what Arvidas Sabonis used to do when he was younger. Now he probably wasn't doing some of the flamboyant shit that his son is doing in this era and nothing like that. But when he was young and he was playing overseas, a young Arvidas Sabonis, man, and even man, we wrong with that? He was a part of the team, and that's not what the argument is. You try to make the argument. Oh yeah, well, he wasn't the best power forward and all this other stuff. What I'm telling you is that he was successful, and he needs credit also for ushering in the style that he played. He was taking his game free throw and extended. He was one of the ones that was taking his game free throw and extended and being able to mix it up. Hell, look at listen. Who you think studied Rasheed Wallace? LaMarcus Aldridge. Go look at LaMarcus Aldridge's game. You could easily see that he studied Rasheed Wallace. Yeah, yeah. Our biggest opponent, yeah, back in the day, man, when he was man. I'm not talking about overweight. And even though overweight, our biggest opponent, he was still hell of a man. That motherfucker had corporate. Yeah, but yeah, man, you over here trying, man, you act like Rasheed Wallace, man, with goddamn fucking motherfucking Bo Outlaw, some bullshit. Goddamn, uh, not to downplay him or nothing like that, but you act like he played a style like Kendrick Perkins. You got him in there when he needed a foul or some bullshit. No, that's not what he was. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He did usher in the style. Nobody was really shooting the 3 pointer like that. Like people were looking at people would look at him and Kendrick Perkins. Man, Memphis, how old are you, man? How old are you, bro? How old are you? You gotta be under 21 talking like this. Yeah, so make it sound like he Carl Herrera or some that motherfucker, man. He said Carl Herrera. Man, goddamn, nigga. Yeah. Motherfucker. Oh man. Like that motherfucker Travis. What's that motherfucker name that barely got any playing time? Travis something. Like that motherfucker Jason Cappy or some bullshit. Oh man. Yeah, well look, man, that's because Travis Knight. I mean, don't get mad because he gonna dug himself in a deep hole right now. You don't know how to get out of it, man. Nigga, if you go anywhere in the world right now, niggas will look at you like you fucking crazy, man. Nigga had his own goddamn. I mean, it's not hard to get your own shoe and shit like that, but nigga did have his own pair of shoes, so that says something. That says a lot, you know what I'm saying? Even though it's pretty much, you can do that, but like I'm looking at the logo. You look at the logo and what the fuck he brought to the table. Yeah, but listen, that goes back to what I said. That goes back to what I said, Memphis. And see, you didn't hear me what I said. I'm gonna repeat this again. If you get past all the yelling, all the screaming, all the arguing, sort of like what Draymond Green does, okay? I listen. I'm one of the few niggas. A lot of niggas don't like this shit either. I'm one of the few niggas that praises Draymond Green and gives him his credit, but I don't like his antics. And I feel like a lot of people should give Draymond Green a lot more credit for what he did. Now, did he play? He didn't play too particularly well. Um, he had an up and down season, especially in the finals and in the playoffs, whatever. But like what I was saying earlier, if you'd have listened to me, man, I said that if you get past all the yelling, the antics, and the refs and all that other stuff, and you go look at what Rasheed Wallace brought to the table, then you'll see that he was a phenomenal player. That's just like if you get past the trash talking that KG did. You know what I'm saying? And if you look at KG's numbers and stuff, especially as he got older, his numbers didn't really jump out you. He didn't have like eye popping numbers and stuff. Like, like if you look in comparison to like a Karl Malone, uh, Charles Barkley or something like that. You feel like what? What the fuck? You know what I'm saying? But he was very important. But you're looking at all the yelling and the technical fouls and stuff like that. That's why you got a bad taste in your mouth about that. But you wanna diminish all the stuff that he's done. Okay, if we talking about popularity and all that other stuff, look when you win it. Sometimes, man, when you sacrifice and you winning championships and shit, you're not gonna be. It's not gonna be a pretty thing. You're not gonna get all the accolades and stuff like that because he wanted to win championships. He already go back and go listen to some of his interviews. He said, man, he ain't with Rasheed Wallace didn't want all the publicity and all the popularity and scoring all the buckets and stuff like that. That motherfucker said he wants to win. Put a polo on your community page and ask supporters if uh, and see what your results. Nigga, I don't need to do anything. First and foremost, you're not gonna come on here telling me what to do. I asked you to tell me what your motherfucking age was, and you still fail to drop that. You know. And then second off, listen, we already know what the results will be, and the decision is not left up to you or me. It's left up to the powers that be in the league. Okay, so we can get that out of the way. But in my opinion, yes, he is. He is a Hall of Famer, and he's done a lot. He's done a lot more than a lot of other guys have done for the game. He finished off his career on a good note. Y'all sitting up in here, you praising a guy like AD. He could barely stay on the fucking floor. Hey, the best ability I thought was availability and reliability. Okay, you 34. I'm very disappointed in you. I'm very disappointed in you because you above 30 and you talking like this. I'd have thought your ass was like half your age, like 17. Goddamn, the way you talking, nigga, you 34. Nigga, my younger cousins know who the fuck Rasheed Wallace is. Yeah, man, he over there. I can't get over that. Ken Cox, that was a good one though. He said Carl Barry. Oh man. Oh man, Memphis, man. You don't show nobody no love, man. That nigga Memphis, I'm disappointed in you. I'm very disappointed in you. Oh, really? Oh man. All right. right. So let's now hold on one second, y'all. Again, growing up, nobody put Rasheed Wallace in the same category as KG Duncan. Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. You always talked about Sheeeeeeed. Go back and go look at it. You see, you don't know. You sitting up in here, downplaying Sheeeeeeed. You can downplay him all you want to, but uh, Dirk was the main. You fail to realize that, right? And you keep on bringing this. Oh yeah, well nobody compared him to such and such. Do you not realize that those guys were the main focal point of their offenses on their team, man? Like KG was the main focal point of his offense when it came to Minnesota. Duncan, he pretty much he took over the reins when David Robinson was on his way out. Chris Webber, we already know his story. Dirk Nowitzki, although it took him a while to get going, he became the focal point of the offense. He had the ball in his hand the majority of the time. Rasheed Wallace did not play that way. He wasn't like the guy that held the ball all the time. Like his usage rate wasn't even that high, man. That's why, like, if you go, okay, it's natural for a guy like you to sit up there and say, oh yeah, well, he only had 14.4 points and 6.7 points, 6.7 rebounds and 1.1 blocks for his career. Okay, he never really was shooting that at that high of a rate for him to average above 20 and get 10 and all that other stuff. So what I'm saying is your comparisons to goddamn uh to like Duncan and all of these other guys, right? It's it's gonna come up as, oh yeah, he wasn't as good as them guys and stuff like that, because those guys were called on to do most of the most of the most of the scoring. Rasheed Wallace did other things that didn't really get noticed. Now he did, was his behavior erratic? Yeah, but he was an emotional player. There's a lot of emotional players where you was like, man, they get on my nerves and stuff. But it didn't take away from his success rate. You're gonna look at, oh yeah, he was only a 4-time All Star. Was he a perennial All Star as much as them guys now? Not at all. But you you act like um, the Hall of Famer, him being a Hall of Fame, the Hall of Fame criteria is just based on oh, how much a guy scored, or how many rebounds he got, stuff like that. Nah, it's a lot. It's a lot of other things. It's a lot of other things. That's why, like, I have arguments sometimes about Draymond. A lot of people feel like he shouldn't be no Hall of Fame. But my only argument was that season that he was the only player in NBA history to have, it was like 1,500 blocks, 500 rebounds, uh, over, I think it was 200 assists, something like that. But you know, that kind of gave him a nod, and then you couple that with the championships and stuff, and the defense that he was playing. Yeah, he did get a defensive player to you. But I was just saying, in my opinion, it's just like I feel like Coop should.
But everybody looks at it from a standpoint of just buckets, buckets, buckets. It's more than just buckets all the time. And Kevin Love didn't start becoming successful until he until he went to Cleveland. He brought up Kevin Love, man. You bringing up guys, man, that get the ball 90% of the time and shit. Oh man. Okay, now you talking. Now you talking like you're 34, man. But all this Clay Thompson, it doesn't play both ends of the floor, and Rasheed Wallace. What are you tripping? But that's your opinion, man. I be fucking around with you, man. Uh, I'm gonna get into something else, man. We gonna get into another topic, man. I appreciate everybody pulling up, man. It's all in fun. You know how I get down. I may pose that question for you, Memphis. Okay, I'll pose it for you since you want me to put that in the community post or whatever. I'm not saying it's gonna be today, but we'll see how it goes. You say Clay Thompson defense? No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. It ain't no narrative, man. That ain't no goddamn narrative, man. Hey, if that, yeah, exactly, man. If that's a narrative, then Zion Williamson being hurt is a narrative. Zion, motherfucking the fact that Ben Simmons couldn't really get out there is a narrative. Anthony Davis falling down on the ground 1,000 times is a goddamn narrative. Jamal Murray could have got his ass out there. The fact that he's saying he was hurt, that's a narrative. He plays both ends of the floor and he's a dynamic shooter. Y'all looking at the fact that, oh yeah, well, he doesn't handle the rock that much. Like I said, there we go again. That's a narrative that you really need to be focused on because he's doing everything that you're supposed to do. He came listen, he came through when a lot of guys didn't come through. When there was times when Steph Curry didn't come through, guess what? Who showed up? Klay Thompson did. Splash Brothers, baby. Splash Brothers. I'm a Philly fan, but you gotta give them their credit. And played hobble. This nigga played less than 100% in the finals, man. Come on, stop that cap, man. Okay, and see, there you go. I knew you was a numbers guy. That dog, you looking at numbers. Hey, did you not forget that this guy had an ace dog? He had a knee and he had an Achilles that he's coming back from. I don't want to hear that shit. What? Okay, what did Zion do? What did Zion do? Yeah, he was 360 and for the gram and shit. He was East Bay funky for the gram and shit. Come on, man. But that meanwhile, that nigga Clay Thompson out there in a dogfight pretty much with Memphis and shit and still out there playing. Okay, so what but I'm saying what does that have to do? What does that have to do with him being successful? You up in here, listen, that goes again, bro. You going by numbers, dog. You always relying heavily on numbers, man. You a stat head. That's what you is. You look at stats and all this other shit, and not realizing that don't tell the whole story, man. I mean, if you want to go there, if you want to sit up there and you want to go there and you want to talk about pre-injury Clay Thompson and stuff, then why won't you bring up the other good stuff that he brought that he brought to the table? Since you want to talk numbers and all this shit, and I was getting ready to get up out of here, but let's go ahead and do that. Since you want to talk about numbers and all this other stuff, first and foremost, okay, since the guy has came in, okay, since the guy has came in, all right, 5-time All Star, okay, All NBA, okay, yeah, third team, but he was on there twice. All defensive team in 2018-19, okay. Uh, he okay, he averaged 20 in his first couple of seasons or whatever, started off a little slow, 12.5, 16.6, 18.4, oh, 21.7. And you talk about he averaged 2 rebounds a game, you lie on that. He averaged close to 4 rebounds per game. For his career, he averaged about 3.5 rebounds, bro. You know what I'm saying? 21.7, 22.1, 22.3, 20, 21.5, and he averaged 20.4 this season or whatever. And listen, and he durable than a motherfucker, right? Unlike your boy AD is, unlike your boy Zion is, unlike your boy Ben Simmons is, right? He durable than a motherfucker. 82. Well, first year 66, 82, 81, 77, 80, 78, 73, 78. And we talk about before he had before the injuries and all of that. He missed 941 days. The man missed 941 days, bro. 941 days. Since he's came into the league, man, this guy has been nothing less than sensational. Now, you want to talk about all these numbers and shit like that, right? You want to talk about all these numbers and shit, right? Let's look at the percentages. All right. uh, okay. Um, he's always been at 40. Wait, hold on. Just want to make sure I had the right information. I gotta slow down and do all this shit. All right. He's a career 41.7% uh, shooter from 3-pointer, right? He shot 41.4% his first year, 40% second year, 41.7, 43.9, 42.5, 41.4, 44, 40. And then when he came back this year, this was the lowest he shot, and that was still at 38.5. Right? You talking about this man? This man, he only averaged 2 point. The lowest total his rebounds was in his first year, and that was at 2.4. He always he only in terms of his assists or whatever, that wasn't that high. But we just talking about what he brought to the table in terms of defense wise, okay? And some of the stuff that he bring, like what you're not looking at, is some of the stuff that he brings to the table, mobility wise, before he had got hurt. He didn't average no 2 point, 2 rebounds a game. You understand what I'm saying? What's up with it, go? You said Zion was drinking 3 apple pie milkshakes a day and eating fried shrimp. Hell yeah. Hey, but go Mike, that wasn't hey look, I wish Go Mike was up in here earlier, but nah, I'm gonna talk about this later, man. Hey, we gonna talk about this a little bit later. Memphis, uh True Viking, Brown Sugar, Ted Cox, all y'all. I'm gonna get at y'all a little bit later. I'll be back a little bit later, y'all.